Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Science Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about DJI Avata 360. So let's dive deep into it. This is going to be a brief overview. So we have to understand, everybody, once they figured out drone existence, once they figured out 360 became good enough, is that we should have both of them making a love child together. Right now, so far, as in like in 2025, you could have bought things that had attachments, not something that was built for it from major brands. So this is year, as in 2026, everybody is starting to get into this, as meaning from first party a dedicated 360 drone. And this drone allows you a unique thing that stick-based 360 cameras cannot offer. That in stick-based 360 cameras, you have the biggest issue: the stick. While you can paint out the stick from AI, you can't paint out the shadow. So it's super easy to spot. And when you are talking about a drone has much easier footprint for AI to remove. It's much easier to just like yoink it. And again, once you are designing a hardware, basically a drone that is meant for 360, you make sure the basically what you call sensor plane is high enough that propeller is like out of it, and lens basically it's almost already is in a blind spot, so it does not cause an issue. So it gives you a camera body that does not have a body. There is no wrong angle, obtuse angle, like full 360 sphere that is floating in midair. So that is genuinely unique, framing advantage that you will not get on a stick-based system. And market is heating up in this field. So two puppies have already entered the market. One is Anti-Gravity A1, which is from Insta360, a company that is mastered 360, but now they are touching drone. And second, DJI Avata 360, which is opposite of that, a company that has mastered drone, now entering 360. So these are the two major puppies that have entered into the match. Now we are talking about DJI here, so you have to, it is Avanta platform, there's like a whole lineup they have. And now they are like, okay, let's take it, let's amp it up, add 360 to it. Rotating main camera. This is their unique selling point, the fact that they are rotating the camera. You have to understand that is necessary, and that is one unique advantage they have compared to all add-on system. I'll explain why from a resolution point of view, but this is unique and wise. So, they have a rotating camera, so you have a choice. Basically, you can have field of view that is far higher quality, or you can have 360 that is far higher flexible. You have two, which is decently good. And many other systems is just like either or, like it's only FOV or only 360. So this has that advantage. I'll explain that, like why it matters so much. And sensor is decent enough, 1 inch, which again, I hate this unit of measurement. Please just tell me square mm. Just that. How many square mm? The end. Bigger number, better the end. So 1 inch sensor and 8K 60 FPS. For 360, it's like not that good, but again, computers will have hard time handling it. So DJI ecosystem, meaning you have multiple controller options. You can have this remote, you can have another remote, some other option. That's the whole point of having a company that is mastered drones. You have option with some extra option with some more option. Did I mention options? You have some options. So that is the integrated prop guard. This is very desirable, especially if you are around people. So if you side swipe, you will not damage the person. That is good. And if you have like, smack into a building, tree or things of that nature, likelihood of this drone surviving it is much higher if it was a naked drone. So that is good. And 4 blade props, which is different rather than having 2 props or 3 props. Now be mindful, the more the props, the higher the drag, but lower the noise. So it has little bit less noise. Omnidirectional obstacle avoidance. Hated by the people who do FPV driving, but loved by the people who are just people, who are not like living and breathing. What is the size of my drone? Can I go through this hole or not? So there are two types of people. One will hate it, one will love it. And new bigger battery system, which again, every drone model apparently has it. It's just there is no reality. But is there, although let me be fair, the biggest thing is this puppy is heavy, 250 gram weight class. It exceeds that. That's a big deal. So let's dive deep into it. So one thing you have to be very mindful is that quiet prop again does not mean quiet. It's loud AF. And be mindful, our ears have a gain setting, meaning while yes, it is true that let's just say 85 decibel is much louder than 80 decibel, it will not feel the same to you simply because your ear will like auto tune the hell out of it. So it's different. And again, that's why people say like you have to change decibel a lot before you feel that audio is much quieter, because again your ear has a messy setting where it's like whoa, 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 I cannot hear it, increase the gain, reduce the gain. So you will not feel it quieter, and even in your microphone it will not be quiet. So let that be very clear. 360 video will always be low resolution no matter how many Ks you throw at it. Now, I made this whole video just to talk about this. How do you describe it that you have low fidelity? Like when we are talking about satellite, it's super easy. How many basically surface area fits into 1 pixel? So it's super easy. It's like, very good satellite systems nowadays can give you 1 pixel per meter square. Basically, if Earth has that 1 meter square, 1 pixel is dedicated to it. Back in the day, it was like, kilometers. Now we have gone down to that. And some spy satellites that supposedly they are so good that it's almost like a foot, 1 foot square. Meaning at 1 foot square, you can tell which year car model is, right? Not just like, okay, this is Toyota. No. This is this year's Toyota. That's happened when you have like, of course, you have to look at like few frames of it, but you'll figure it out. So how do you describe a camera like this? Well, in this scenario, we use a measurement unit known as pixel per square degree. Meaning, if you have a field of view and that is 10 degree, that becomes a what we call a square degree. So 8K sounds good. 360, that only means you have 803 pixels per degree square. Now, okay, what is the contrast? Is it good? Is it bad? Well, take the same goddamn camera, okay? Switch it to FOV mode and assume the lens is 24 mm, decent, reasonable enough. That gives you more or less 91,000 pixel per square degree. That's why if you ever, and again, we had 360 degree for long ago. It's just that it was horrendous because at that time they were directly barely touching like 4K. So it's not enough. And you can see like 800 versus 900. Even if you half it, it's like, okay, but it's not 8K, it's 4K. It still gives you 40,000. Even if you're like, okay, but what if it's like the angle is, I'm 24 mm, but let's say it's like 10 mm, so it's almost fisheye. You still will have a lot. That's why the idea of stretching the image and then creating a sphere fundamentally compromises the pixel density. That's why whenever movie people are doing this, they literally have multiple camera. Look into Google Street View camera. They do not have 2 lenses, multiple, 4 or 6 bare minimum, because this number is too bad. And to give you a feel of it, I have linked a guy who have shared an amazing video of the drone, but the full 360 video file. If you're old enough, you'll have remember YouTube wanted to do that 360 thing. It's just that people realize so ugly. Like unless you have like 500K, this number is just not good enough. Like physics is like, no, bro, no. So it looks good in mobile phone. That's why people love it. It's like, it looks like Instagram. Whoa, mobile you can interact with. But the moment you look at a computer screen, I'm talking like anything like 25 inches or like this, it will look like, now framing would be great. Scenes would be great. The fidelity would be poo-poo. So let that be very clear. That's why like this is a physics level problem. You cannot cheat it or bypass it. So if you have just an action camera and that's just looking one forward, it will beat any 360 degree camera's ass. Like fundamentally it will beat ass. Now most people don't notice it because they are only comparing mobile phone. Watch it on a TV, you will instantaneously understand that. And there is another problem. 360 allows you to reframe later, but it will not have the quality, and biggest issue is it will lose to action cam in terms of quality, and it will have stitching seam where you are stitching those two is not enough to stitch. So there's a lot of AI painting and stretching and all that also makes it wavy. You can see that like land, so there is like, it randomly just like waves like this. And again, that is much better than it used to be. I know you must have seen like a lot of people put 360 camera in dog's mouth and is like, that mouth does not stitch properly. Yeah, that's the thing. Seem it does not work. That's why like movies and even Google cars, they always spent like 4 or 5, come on. You have to have that. So seam stitching is like necessary, like meaning if you have a camera, you make sure that your primary action is always happening in one lens, never in the border. And unfortunately how drone is, that means you have to be either below the drone or above the drone, or make the drone fly like this, so you have the full coverage. So seam is on a place that is like at least primary action is not happening in the seam, otherwise you will notice it. That's the thing. When you're like looking at fast action, it may not look like it, but the moment you see it on big TV, it's like, whoa, why the heck that bike Tokyo drifted midair? Oh, seam. So It looks great on mobile phone, does not look great on TV or mobile monitors. Be mindful of that. And the battery, DJI, while it has solved a lot of issue, wireless issue, the quality control issue, all of that is really good in DJI. Battery life is one thing that I've seen every Tom, Dick and Harry who owns it is like, yeah. So if they say 20 minutes, 10 minutes. It's like, keep your eye for the battery. Battery is not there. That's why that was shocked. Like how the most common complaint is just that you have to work around the battery. It's like battery is poo-poo. It's almost like, my Samsung S23 FE. The battery is tiny. It's poo-poo. But I have to live with it. So you have to be mindful of that. Like buy multiple batteries, just like accept it. You're gonna fly, land, swap the battery, fly again. It is like that. So what about India? Well, here's the deal. It will cost a lot. Why? Again, the same thing will apply with USA also, because DJI is in naughty list. Countries and governments are like, you are taking a bit too much data from a national system. So yeah, so be mindful. You should be willing to expect to pay upwards of 1 lakh rupees or maybe more than that. Yes, on paper it could be lower, but because it's in naughty list, I would urge you to wait. Again, hopefully when you are watching the video, the release has already happened and you should know the final cost. But again, I would not be shocked if it's more than 1 lakh. Another aspect is, because of the weight, it requires a remote pilot certificate. Basically, you need to get training and certified. Only then certification is provided by Directorate General of Civil Aviation. Remote pilot certificate from them. And that is expensive. Again, if you are a commercial dude, you might already have it, and if you are planning to get into the field, you should have this. Trust me, it's get it as early as possible, because again, it's much cheaper to do it now than wait, because again, the cost when they started, it was not that expensive. Now it's becoming expensive. So, and training generally could take a week or so. So you should get it as quickly as possible done. But what if you want to cheat around it? You do not want to pay too much? Well, the camera will become expensive, but you may not need the license, because this is apparently below that 250 gram licensing requirement. So to each their own. So be mindful of this, like either buy a smaller camera or just go with the training. Again, if you are doing a job, I would urge you to get this. Do not try to find the cheat code all the time, because there is a very good serious risk. Government, somebody will mess up something with a 250 gram, and then that will be also excluded from the registration free category, and then back to square one. So get it done as quickly as possible if this is your bread and butter. Otherwise, I'm like, you can ignore it. But again, I did like the idea of having 360 going into like normal photo, because again, because of it's no longer doing that stretching and stitching, it has much better image stabilization, much higher fidelity. That's why I like the design wise. Like from a design point of view, it's good. But if you really need like 360 that is watchable, it may need minimum 4 cameras, 8 cameras. And again, files would be bonkersly huge. So this was my presentation on this new breed of 360 drones that are hitting the market. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please hit the like button, share it amongst a friend. That will help me a lot. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show mixed disappointment. Please leave a comment, because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.